reflection. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Life has this funny way of testing us, pushing us, reflection, telling us we need to control every single moment. But here's the truth: the harder you force, the more it slips through your fingers. Peace, success, reflection, clarity, they aren't wrestled into existence. They're allowed to grow, to unfold, to arrive when the timing is right. Sometimes the universe is trying to teach you patience. Sometimes reflection, it's whispering, let go and watch the beauty of what's meant for you come to life. You don't have to chase every opportunity or hold on to every struggle. Reflection. There's power in surrender. There's power in trusting the process. Because when you stop fighting against the natural rhythm of life, reflection, that's when everything begins to align. That's when your heart, your mind, and your actions move in harmony with the world around you. Now, reflection. Let me share 8 key truths about why stopping the force is the key to everything falling into place. Life has a rhythm, a timing that is far greater than anything we can manufacture or control. Reflection, you see, we live in a world that glorifies speed, immediacy, and instant results, but the truth is some things simply cannot be rushed. Opportunities, relationships, personal growth, reflection, success, they all have a season. And when we try to force them before their time, we only create frustration, disappointment, and unnecessary struggle. Reflection, trusting the timing of your life, is about understanding that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. It means it's not yet ready for you. Reflection, it means you're being prepared in ways you can't yet see. There is a divine intelligence, a natural flow that orchestrates events, experiences, and encounters. Your job is not to force them, reflection, but to show up fully in your own life. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of waiting carries a lesson, a refinement, a seed for the future. When you trust that timing, reflection, you begin to notice patterns, doors opening at the exact right moment, people appearing when you need them most, and opportunities landing in your path when you are truly ready to handle them. Reflection. Trust is not passive. It's an active engagement with life, a conscious decision to stop pushing against the current and instead swim with it. Reflection. Imagine a tree trying to force its fruit to ripen before the season. It would only destroy itself in the process. But the tree that grows steadily, nourished by sunlight, rain, and care, reflection, produces fruit at exactly the right time. That is how life works for us too. When you trust your timing, you release the anxiety, reflection, the constant pressure to make it happen, and you allow yourself to exist fully in each moment, knowing that what is meant for you will arrive not sooner, not later, reflection, but exactly when it should. Life has a rhythm, a timing that is far greater than anything we can manufacture or control. You see, we live in a world that glorifies speed, immediacy, reflection, and instant results, but the truth is some things simply cannot be rushed. Opportunities, relationships, personal growth, success, they all have a season. Reflection. And when we try to force them before their time, we only create frustration, disappointment, and unnecessary struggle. Reflection. Trusting the timing of your life is about understanding that just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. It means it's not yet ready for you. Reflection. It means you're being prepared in ways you can't yet see. There is a divine intelligence, a natural flow that orchestrates events, experiences, and encounters. Your job is not to force them, but to show up fully in your own life. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of waiting carries a lesson, a refinement, a seed for the future. When you trust that timing, reflection, you begin to notice patterns, doors opening at the exact right moment, people appearing when you need them most, and opportunities landing in your path when you are truly ready to handle them. Reflection, trust is not passive, it's an active engagement with life, a conscious decision to stop pushing against the current and instead swim with it. Reflection, imagine a tree trying to force its fruit to ripen before the season. It would only destroy itself in the process. But the tree that grows steadily, nourished by sunlight, rain, and care, reflection, produces fruit at exactly the right time. That is how life works for us too. When you trust your timing, you release the anxiety, reflection, the constant pressure to make it happen, and you allow yourself to exist fully in each moment, knowing that what is meant for you will arrive. Not sooner, not later, reflection, but exactly when it should. There's a lot in life we cannot control, and the moment we realize that is the moment we start to live with clarity and purpose. Too often, reflection, people waste their energy trying to manipulate circumstances, change other people, or bend reality to their will. And in that struggle, reflection, they drain themselves of the one thing they can influence, their own effort, their own mindset, their own actions. Focusing on what you can change is not settling for less. Reflection, it's the path to real power. It's saying, I will take responsibility for my life, for my growth, for the steps I take, reflection. But I will not exhaust myself trying to command what is beyond my reach. You can't control how others behave, how opportunities present themselves, or how the world reacts to you, reflection. But you can control your preparation, your focus, and your determination. Imagine a sculptor facing a massive block of stone. He doesn't worry about what the stone will do, reflection, or how the world will perceive it. He focuses on what he can shape with his hands, chip by chip, day by day. That is what living intentionally looks like, reflection. By concentrating on what you can influence, you create momentum, you gain confidence, and you set the stage for life to respond to your actions naturally, reflection. You stop wasting energy on frustration and fear, and you start investing it in growth and progress. You learn to meet challenges with resilience, to see setbacks as lessons, reflection, and to act where your impact is real. And here's the deeper truth: when you focus on what you can change, the things you cannot change often begin to shift naturally. Reflection. The universe has a way of aligning itself around those who are disciplined in their own power. You become like water, flowing into the channels you can reach. Reflection. Shaping your path with patience and persistence, and letting the rest adjust around you. That's how you move from struggle to flow, from anxiety to peace. Reflection. From trying to force outcomes to allowing life to meet you where you are ready. Patience is one of the most underrated powers in life, reflection. Yet it is the very thing that separates those who struggle endlessly from those who succeed with grace. Now, don't get it twisted. Patience does not mean sitting idle, reflection, or waiting for life to hand you your dreams. That's not patience, that's passivity. True patience is active, deliberate, and full of faith. It's showing up, doing the work, reflection, sharpening your skills, strengthening your mind, and refining your character, all while trusting that the results will come at the right moment. The world loves to tell us that we need to hurry, reflection, that we need to push harder, faster, and more aggressively to achieve what we want. But here's the truth: rushing never produces greatness. Rushing creates mistakes, burnout, and frustration. Reflection. When you cultivate patience, you build endurance. You develop the ability to wait without losing your purpose or your drive. You understand that life's best gifts often take time to ripen. Reflection. Think about the most successful people in history. They didn't get there by forcing every door open. They prepared relentlessly. They stayed committed to their vision, reflection, and they trusted the process. They knew when to act and when to wait. And in that waiting, they grew. They learned, they became ready for the moment when opportunity finally arrived. Reflection. Patience allows you to be present, to fully engage in each stage of your journey, and to find value in the lessons that come before the reward. It teaches you humility and strength. Reflection. Because you recognize that your timing is part of a bigger plan. When you act with patience, you're no longer a frantic force against life. You become a powerful presence within it. Reflection. You move deliberately, you speak thoughtfully, and you respond rather than react. You stop forcing outcomes, and instead you align yourself with the flow of life. Reflection. Confident that your persistence and dedication will meet the right moment at exactly the right time. One of the heaviest chains we put on ourselves is the constant need for validation from others. Reflection. We chase approval, recognition, and acceptance as if our worth depends on it. And in doing so, we tie ourselves to the opinions, judgments, reflection, and expectations of people who may not even understand our journey. The moment you stop chasing validation, the moment you stop trying to force others to see your value, your life begins to shift. Reflection. You realize that your worth is inherent, not granted by applause, likes, or praise. You stop bending, compromising, and contorting yourself to fit someone else's idea of success or happiness. Reflection. Instead, you begin to live authentically, driven by your purpose, your passion, and your vision. When you are no longer desperate for approval, your energy becomes focused and unshakable. Reflection. You show up fully in your life, unapologetically, with the confidence that what is meant for you will recognize you in your truth. Reflection. People and opportunities that are aligned with your path will naturally gravitate toward you. You don't have to force friendships, partnerships, reflection, or opportunities. They will come because your authenticity draws them. And here's the deeper lesson: when you stop chasing validation, you also stop chasing illusions of control. Reflection. You stop trying to mold reality into what you think it should be for someone else's approval. You act from clarity, not from fear. You begin to trust your own instincts, your own vision, reflection, and your own journey. The freedom that comes from this is immense. You realize that the only person whose approval you truly need is your own. Reflection. And when you operate from that place of self-assured power, life itself seems to bend in your favor. Doors open, paths appear. Reflection. And opportunities that were invisible when you were distracted by the noise of others suddenly reveal themselves. Your energy, your confidence, reflection. and your authenticity become a magnet for what you truly deserve, and everything begins to align, not because you forced it, flexion, but because you allowed yourself to step fully into who you are meant to be. Life is unpredictable, and uncertainty has a way of making us uncomfortable, restless, and anxious. We want guarantees, reflection. We want clear paths. We want life neatly packaged so we can see exactly where we are going. But here's the truth: the unknown is not an enemy. It is the space where possibilities are born. Reflection. When you stop trying to force certainty, when you stop demanding that life conform to your expectations, you open yourself to opportunities that are bigger, richer, flexion, and more meaningful than anything you could have imagined. Embracing uncertainty is about leaning into discomfort with courage. Reflection, it's about walking into the unknown, knowing that you have the strength, the skill, and the resilience to handle whatever comes your way. Think about it, some of the greatest achievements, flexion, the most powerful connections, and the most life-changing moments happen in the spaces we cannot predict. When you try to force everything to be certain, you blind yourself to these possibilities. Flexion, you close doors before they even appear. But when you step into uncertainty with faith and confidence, life begins to reveal itself in layers, moments, reflection, and opportunities that you never could have planned. You begin to trust your instincts, your preparation, and your ability to adapt. You learn to flow with the currents instead of fighting them. Reflection. And in that flow, you find creativity, innovation, and solutions that wouldn't exist in a world of rigid control. The unknown becomes your playground, not your prison. Reflection, you stop being afraid of what might go wrong and start being curious about what might go right. Every risk, every uncharted path becomes a chance to grow, to expand. Reflection, and to discover parts of yourself you didn't know existed. And the beautiful part is, when you embrace uncertainty, you stop forcing outcomes. You start moving deliberately, intentionally. Reflection, and with openness, you allow life to guide you. And in doing so, everything begins to fall into place, not because you demanded it, but because you trusted the journey. Reflection, even when the destination was unseen, there is a voice inside of you that knows more than your mind will ever admit. It's quiet, subtle, and often drowned out by the noise of doubt, fear, reflection, and the opinions of others. This inner voice, your intuition, is a compass, a guide, a whisper from your deeper self telling you the way forward. The moment you start listening to it, reflection, rather than forcing solutions with brute effort or chasing the approval of everyone around you, life begins to align. Most people ignore this voice because it doesn't scream or demand attention. Reflection, it doesn't force its way into your life like an obligation or a demand. Instead, it nudges, it hints, it points quietly in the direction you need to go. And here's the truth: reflection. When you act against it, when you try to force your own version of the plan, you create friction, mistakes, and regret. But when you pause, when you step back, and when you truly listen, flexion, you begin to make choices that feel effortless even in the hardest moments. You start to move with a sense of clarity that comes from knowing you are aligned with yourself. Your decisions, flexion, your actions, and your steps no longer feel like struggle, they feel like flow. Trusting your intuition is also a practice of courage. It means having faith in your own judgment, reflection, even when the world around you doubts or questions it. It means being willing to stand alone in your convictions, to take risks that feel right to your soul, reflection, even if they don't make sense to others. And as you do this, life rewards you. Opportunities begin to appear that you never expected. People show up when you need them most. Reflection. Paths open that you couldn't have forced into existence. The beauty of listening to your inner voice is that it frees you from the need to control, manipulate, or force anything. Instead, reflection. You act from alignment, from clarity, from a place of power that is grounded in truth. That is when life begins to fall into place naturally, not because you demanded it, flexion, but because you allowed yourself to move with the guidance you're always carrying inside you. There is a profound beauty in learning to celebrate the flow of life. Too often, reflection. We are so consumed with outcomes, with goals, with what should happen next, that we forget to notice the magic of what is already happening around us. Reflection. Life is not only about reaching milestone, it's about being present in the journey, appreciating the small victories, and recognizing the subtle ways the universe is aligning in your favor. Reflection. When you stop forcing things, you begin to see the synchronicities, the moments, the people, and the experiences that were always there, quietly shaping your path. The smiles, the lessons, reflection, the doors that open when you least expect them. All of it becomes more visible when you release the pressure to control. Reflection, celebrating the flow of life, is also about gratitude. It's acknowledging that even in moments of challenge or delay, there is purpose, there is growth, and there is opportunity. Reflection. When you focus on what's happening right now, rather than what hasn't happened yet, Your energy shifts from frustration to appreciation, from tension to peace, from striving to thriving. Reflection, life starts to feel lighter, freer, and richer because you are no longer exhausting yourself trying to force outcomes that are not yet ready. You learn to dance with timing, reflection, to move with patience, and to align with the natural rhythm of existence. And here's the remarkable truth: the more you honor this flow, the more life responds. Reflection, opportunities come when you least expect them. People appear when you need them most. Moments of clarity, joy, and success arrive without struggle. The flow of life becomes your ally, reflection, not your adversary, because you are no longer pushing against it. You are moving with it. When you embrace this, when you truly celebrate the rhythm of your life, reflection, you find that everything falls into place, not because you forced it, but because you learn to trust, to release, to appreciate reflection, and to allow the universe to work in harmony with your own efforts and intentions. Life becomes a beautiful unfolding, and you are no longer merely surviving. You are thriving, fully present, reflection, and fully aligned with the remarkable journey that is yours alone. So today, I challenge you to take a step back. Release the pressure, stop forcing, and trust the journey. Reflection. Show up fully in your life, do the work that only you can do, and allow the rest to unfold in its own perfect timing. Life has a way of aligning when you stop wrestling with it. Reflection, when you stop trying to control it, and when you stop seeking approval from the world. Every lesson, every delay, every twist of fate is preparing you for the moment you are meant to shine. Reflection, embrace patience, embrace uncertainty, listen to your inner voice, celebrate the flow, the small victories, and the subtle magic around you. Because the moment you stop forcing reflection, that's the moment the doors open. That's the moment clarity arrives. That's the moment your path becomes clear and everything you've been waiting for begins to fall into place. Reflection. So trust yourself, trust the process, and step into the life that is waiting for you because it's already ready and it's already yours.